we go in live.
There it is. Thanks, Trevor. I'll ping you later to work out that for next time. So hello, everybody. It's Tom Cooney, Director of Support at GitLab. This is our group conversation. The deck should be available. And I'll just kind of kick it off to start with a few new hires over the last month or so. Listed them in the first page, but also wanted to introduce a new EMEA manager in Ronan O'Connor. Started yesterday. And as part of that, wanted to send my appreciation to Tom Atkins for helping kind of work through the last couple of months, managing, I think, almost 16 to 17 people up to date now. So he's been working real hard on one-on-ones and onboarding and that sort. So thank you, Tom, and welcome, Ronan, and our other new members. So with that, I will kind of open it up for verbalized questions. Let me get back to my agenda.
I got the first couple. So congrats on the great results, great numbers.
Thanks.
Very high consistency and very happy customers. So that's amazing. Can you elaborate a bit on the heat maps of slide 5, maybe, or maybe Lyle wants to take that one?
Yeah, I'll actually ask Lee to go through that because he's pulled those together and can talk to him pretty deeply, I believe, if he's on.
Sure, I am. Thank you. And I saw Lyle answering in the doc. Lyle was just outlining the structure of them. I'll share my screen really quickly, which should let us walk through it really quick. So I want to share desktop 2 and give me a thumbs up if you're seeing the heat maps. Great, awesome. I saw J Plum. I wonder if YouTube Live Annotate will work. We'll try it out. So the hours that we're seeing here across the top are Eastern Standard just because I generated it and the software shows it that way. But effectively what you can see is from 2018 October to now, this is number of tickets generated, premium tickets generated in that hour for the month. And then the color represents our performance against them. So the darker red here implies that we had more breaches. And this blue is 100%, right? So one of the things that I want to highlight here is kind of this region, this 9 a.m. is kind of an EMEA America handover time that we could see consistently. This trend is led by hiring. As we hire into APAC and build out that region more robust, we can see this trend pushing outward. Great. But we can still see that this pocket is something that we want to do better on. And we've been working, Lyle specifically has been devising new process here to help us better make sure that that handoff doesn't lead to breaches. And then this view is just a more in-depth looking week over week and seeing the performance over the last 12 weeks. And you can see that we've been doing really well. And in the last 12 weeks, that red region has been really pushed out, which is kind of looking over here and over here. So this is kind of a zoom in on this time frame. So Sid, does that help to clarify?
Yeah, thanks. Awesome. Did you make this with Periscope?
We did not. We're currently using Zendesk's tools to graph this. We have our KPIs in Periscope. So the top of the line actual number is in Periscope. We're using this tool for the moment because it's a little bit faster to work with. Periscope, you have to use SQL. But my dream is that we can have this in Periscope.
Cool. You might want to stop screen sharing. Thanks for that. I have the next one as well. Small request. I love the virtual pizza party blog post. This is kind of a group social, and maybe we can cross-link both. I can't find the docs for a group social, but a group social is kind of having a meeting with your immediate team, or team social, I think we should call it. And maybe someone can find the link. Regarding measuring links, I'm skipping number 4 because I start seeing other questions. Regarding measuring links, can we maybe add the percentage without a doc or an issue or a merge request link? Because I think we're now counting like what percentage contains this, what percentage contains that, but you might have multiple links in in some of your responses and no links in others. And we kind of care about the ones that have no links because something is up in those. Is this a possibility?
I think so, Sid. I'll chime in here. I know Tom Atkins has been working on this. I don't believe he's in the call. He is. Tom, if you want to speak up, feel free. But one of the things I do want to highlight before I pass to Tom, we had a customer say the other day in one of their feedback ratings, they didn't like, this was just one customer, one instance, they didn't like that we were just pointing documentation, right? Obviously, we want to figure out the right balance of helping them and having valuable docs. So I think we want to tweak this goal a little bit to make sure that we're not measuring something that actually has a negative impact. But again, that's one anecdote, not data.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's asking for just a link. Like if you ask me a question, no one's, I don't think anybody objects to also having a link in the email. So that's the goal. It's not, we're not measuring, are you only sending links to customers? That would be super detrimental. Sure. So I don't think we should confuse the only sending links with sending links. I think sending a link is fine as long as you also like guide the customer to it and help answer the question.
Makes sense, Sid.
Yeah, I think there's actually some work being done. I think was it Harish or Thiago that had put together some information on how to kind of better the responses and kind of keep things going. So it is that combination of links and explanation. And Tom, sorry to interrupt if you were willing to speak to the reverse side of that metric.
I'm in a slightly noisy place, but I don't have much to add to what Lee's put, but ongoing work, and we'll definitely keep looking into it and try.
Yeah, okay. So we'll continue to work. It looks like Tom may have gone silent.
Sorry, bad Wi-Fi. I think I'll hand it over.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Jason?
Looks like I have the next item. So with one of the educational targets being Kubernetes, is there anything our in-company experts could particularly assist you guys with, or I'm sorry, with the team with? Either resources, tools that we're making use of, guides that we may find or may be able to write for you, maybe small group instruction at some point, think like birds of a feather type calls?
The general answer for me would be yes, but I know a bunch of folks have been kind of digging in, Lee as well, so I'll let them ask and kind of follow up with what sorts of things we could leverage for sure.
Sure. I think, Lyle, you may have some other thoughts here. I'll just chime in for a quick second. Every Kubernetes expert that we've had has been super helpful already. So thank you all Kubernetes experts at GitLab. Thank you so much. You've been a great help. From there, yes, something more formalized will probably be helpful. Just getting an issue out and getting that outlined. So thank you, Jason, for thinking of that. But already you've been a great help helping us understand our Helm chart and how customers are leveraging that and expanding on that. So thank you. Lyle, you have anything you want to add?
No, I don't. I mean, just the posture of openness where like even in the Kubernetes channel, you've said very explicitly that it's okay for people to ask dumb questions. That all is very helpful. In terms of getting something more formal, I think that we'll probably need to just discuss sort of get a learning group together and to kind of discuss how to best solve their need. But right now it's very much manager by manager in terms of who's doing the learning.
Okay, I'm going to add this. It's not directly related, but you triggered me a little bit. There is no such thing as a dumb question. Okay, as one of the people as an expert in that channel, let me make it very clear that this is something that I feel I know the rest of the company does. So let me put it on record for YouTube. There is no such thing as a dumb question. There is a question where you don't know something, but you know someone else does. I can tell you a lot about Kubernetes. I can't tell you a lick about product design or UX or anything that Luke does. So remember that. Feel free to ask anybody anything at any time. There should be no shame because you're asking what they know, and someday they will ask what you know.
Cool. I think John Woods got one of verbalize your next question.
Yeah, I do. Thank you. So all your first response time initiatives, I think, have been amazing. I've seen your SLA percentages skyrocketing, but it seems like the effect of that is it's causing next response time percentages to suffer. So what are your plans to help address the drop in next response time SLA percentages?
On that front, John, I think the big thing is we're working to figure out where and why they breach. We just did some analysis a few months ago to understand. We had this premise that the longer a ticket went, the more likely it was to breach, which was not true, which was a fascinating discovery that we found. And we're trying to better understand what is there anything that we can look at that'll help us understand why tickets breach? And that's the next big thing. The other thing that we're also trying to balance as we think about these metrics, first reply time is really valuable because that's first contact and making sure that we triage and get them the help that they need. Next reply time is also very valuable, but ultimately time to resolve is also valuable. So we're trying to find the right balance of what are the right targets and metrics, as well as balancing that with CSAT. So we want to improve it. The focus first is why do tickets breach and honing in there. One of the big things that we recently worked on as well is a new role that we call SLA Hawk, and their job is to make sure next replies are getting out and not breaching. So that's one recent improvement. Other managers on the call, any other thoughts?
No, I just want to reiterate the time to resolve. That's been a new thing we've started introducing in the monthly metrics review. And I think that is actually the key to kind of reducing number of next replies for starters, but also just getting the solution in the hands of the customer faster, right? And then we probably start to measure that rather than our next reply performance.
I guess there's no other questions, so I'll just ask a quick follow-up. Is there anything that the TAMs can do to help our customers provide better initial support tickets to support? I know we've kind of talked about this in the past, Lee and Lyle, but maybe you have some more thoughts as to what we can do. Maybe if there's a handbook entry we can even reference our customers to please include these as part of your initial email.
I'll chime in, and then Lyle, if you have any other thoughts. I did a GitLab Unfiltered video that was based on a training that I gave at a customer. In there, there's a slide deck and a section in there that I think is valuable that outlines what we want to see from customers. So I would check out Support Debugging Techniques, a GitLab Support Engineer's Perspective. It's a long title, but it's on Unfiltered. That's a great resource to give to your customers, and it outlines what we want to see in first replies or first touch points. The other thing there, as we notice it, John, we've been pinging TAMs and saying, hey, we need more here, we need this. But I do think a handbook update would be helpful. The other thing that I want to think about is as we partner to help customers, we've been trying to make sure that as you see things and need help, that you also have the power to call in other groups to help. There was a great example last week of somebody calling in a Geo team member to come in and help, and I want to encourage that as well. So handbook update, good idea. I think we need to make sure that that's clear. The video and the slide deck from that video that's linked, support engineering debugging for GitLab, check that out, and then that should be a good starting point. And as we see it, we'll let you know. Lyle, any other thoughts?
We do have a section in the statement of support. I went ahead and linked that in the chat and in the doc. It's called Working Effectively in Support Tickets. I think as long as you have the elements that are in there, then we'll be set up pretty well.
Yeah, thank you for that link, Lyle. I think that's what that us TAMs need to socialize with our customers. Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I would also reiterate, it's not a one-time deal, right? Customers change, people that interact with us pretty frequently. So I think if there's like regular reviews with them or whatever, just reiterating how to interact with support from the first touch to continued touches. So we appreciate that help for sure.
It also brings to my mind the idea, John, that as support managers, we should do better job of highlighting when we get good responses as well. So I think that that's something that we can draw attention to when any customer sends us like, this is exactly what we want to see, just sharing that so we can all have better perspective. So I like thinking about it from that way as well.
Cool. Hey, I just want to say I was wrong. I asked for like, hey, can we also measure what percentage of tickets contain at least one link? And that's already done. That's the first number I overlooked that. Sorry about that.
Cool. Thanks, Sid. Any other questions if people want to join in? All right. Silence is either consensus or it's all over. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining and the questions and the interaction. And again, welcome all our newcomers.
Do you mind if I do a real quick shout out to support?
Never mind that at all.
I'm a business systems analyst on the business operations team, and I just want to thank support for being so quick on creating their own role-based template for their support engineers.
Cool. Thanks, Jamie. I think Lise had a lot to do with that. Lise Benoisa. So thanks, Lise. All right. I think that's it. So I can stop the live stream and end the meeting.